So, exporting. So, I'm going to delete this thing first. So, in here I have my geolocated base, CAD base from GIS, right? So I just have this on hand. Let's export a portion of this model. So let's say I'm looking at this feature right here, this mountain here, right? This is the coolest feature of my Infraworks model. I want this piece right here. You could, in theory, export the entire thing. I don't recommend doing that because this is a mesh. It's going to have a lot of mesh cells. It'd be it'll be a really big file size if you decide to export the whole thing. So I'm going to try doing this with just this little piece right here. So what you do is you go to this little thing that looks like a wrench on a screwdriver, this button, settings, utilities, right here. And there's this thing called export 3D model, second from the top. So I click that. It's going to ask you for an extent, so I'm going to click on B box, and I'm going to draw a bounding box. I'm going to click once, and I'm going to drag it over to this area right here, like so. Then double click to close. So this will be the area that gets exported. Target coordinate system, this should match the coordinate system of your GIS file and also your Rhino file, which is this one right here. Arizona 83 Central International Feet. Origin, I'm going to click on user defined, and I'm going to open up a text document because I want to save these numbers here. So I'm going to Control C, paste that, Control C, paste that, and this is just a 0, so whatever. Because I want to remember these offset values. This will come in handy later. Then, in target files, I'm going to click on multiple files here because I want to export everything separately. Buildings into one FBX, ground into one FBX. In this case, this little area that I'm exporting has no buildings on it, so I don't need to actually have buildings checked. So I just uncheck buildings. And then I'm going to select the ground feature here. I'm going to click on this little folder right here. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to call this ground is okay. I'll call this one ground Sedona. And I'm going to save this as an OBJ format. I believe OBJ is the best format for bringing information into Rhino, I think. Okay, so then all that's set up, click OK, or click Export. Bless you. Okay, so it worked, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into Rhino. Okay, then we're going to type in import. We're going to click on the OBJ file that I just exported. As you can see, it's 98 megabytes. It's kind of big. It's okay. Click open. And then let's see, import OBJ objects as groups. I think that's okay. And then map OBJY to Rhino Z. I think this should be checked. So click OK. And let's see if it works. I hope it works. It's thinking about it. Okay. So here's that mesh. If I go into perspective view, it appears to have worked. I think it worked. So let's see what layers these are on. So I'm going to click on these guys. I'll make a new layer, call this terrain. Change object layer. So now this is on the terrain layer, right? These are meshes, right? Now, I'm going to go back to top view. I'm going to go over back to my geolocated objects here, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a point. So type in point, and I'm going to create a point at this location, this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a comma in between each value, like so, then copy that, and then paste that, and now there's a point right here. So I can select my buildings, hit move, use this as my starting point, hit 0, 0, 0, and I think that worked. It worked because the topography we chose was to the left of that downtown area. So in this example, I didn't quite exactly, I should have probably picked an area with buildings, but this area is just to the right of that downtown area. So this is how you correctly bring in topography into your Rhino model and have everything be located in the correct area.